Good morning, breathers. I lost the screen there for a minute. I'm so adept at this stuff. I'm really getting good. Not really. Not yet. It's kind of fun. I'd like to ask you, breathers, to like, subscribe, and share so we can reach more people in this organic, non pharmaceutical health endeavor. Just to refresh, we have 60,000 miles of blood vessels. A lot of you have heard this, but it can't be said too much. We have 25 trillion red blood cells. In each red blood cell, there's 270 million hemoglobin molecules. And in each hemoglobin molecule, there are 4 oxygen molecules. So we have quite a bit of oxygen floating around in our blood. Most of us have a 95 to 100% oxygen saturation in our peripheral blood vessels. Now, just because it's there, that does not mean it's able to leave the blood, the red blood cell, and get into our muscles and organs and tissues. That's a different story. When we overbreathe, which is a funny term, how can you overbreathe? Well, most of us do. A lot of us breathe through our mouth. We're off-gassing carbon dioxide, and we're taught that carbon dioxide is a waste product. Yeah and no. It's a byproduct of our cellular activity. But Christian Bohr coined something called the Bohr effect. And that's if we can raise our tolerance of carbon dioxide, meaning we have more floating around in our blood vessels. If we raise it, we have greater oxygenation, oxygen released. Again, carbon dioxide loosens the bond between oxygen and the hemoglobin molecule. They're tightly bound together, as there should be. But when we can tolerate more carbon dioxide, it's easier for the oxygen, which we have a lot of, to release into the working cells. So again, we have this 60,000 mile network. When we breathe nasally, slowly, with our diaphragm, we are upregulating our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest. Just parenthetically, when you breathe in, that stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight. Everything in life is, or should be, it's a balance. Our body's always trying to keep in homeostasis. So you breathe in, that's the sympathetic nervous system activation. When you breathe out, that's the parasympathetic nervous system activation, the rest and digest, the healing, the calming. When we breathe out longer than we breathe in, we get better oxygenation. Our toes and fingertips feel the warmth of the oxygen going into the blood, flowing into our extremities and getting oxygenated. We have more saliva in our mouth, which is an indication of parasympathetic activity. And saliva also has hormones in it. Of interest is a human growth hormone, HGH, is produced in the saliva. So for lifetime health, we need to breathe through our nose. Okay, my nose is plugged up. I can't. Well, you can unplug it in 5 minutes by breathing in, breathing out, pinching your nose, and bobbing your head or swaying until you feel a air hunger, and then release your nose and breathe slowly in and take 3 or 4 breaths and then do that again. You can do that for 5 minutes, and you'll feel the effect. And if it's not as much as you want, wait 15-20 minutes and do it again. So something that I talk about, and I don't know if people understand the importance of it, is our nose is one of the most underrated organs in our body. We have these 3 bony-like structures on each side in the paranasal cavity. Some people say it's kind of like a conch shell look. And they're called turbinates. Turbinates. And the air flows through those turbinates. And it's exposed to all the carbon dioxide. It's exposed to the nitric oxide that's produced in the nasal cavity. If we breathe nasally, if we breathe through our mouth, we don't get any of that benefit. So these turbinates help humidify, help pressurize, help filter, help purify the air. And just like a garden hose, when it's got a smaller hose, it shoots farther. So these passages are smaller than the mouth and the throat. You get a lot of air, but it doesn't go anywhere. It just outgasses carbon dioxide and only goes to your upper lobes of your lungs. Whereas when you breathe nasally, it's humidified, pressurized, purified, filled with nitric oxide and carbon dioxide, which are vasodilators, which are antiviral, antibacterial. There's no downside. You just have to create a habit. So when you breathe nasally, it goes through the turbinates, it's pressurized, and it shoots down to the lower blood-rich lobes of the lungs. And you're breathing a little slower, so there's more time for the oxygen and carbon dioxide to exchange, more time for the nitric oxide to perfuse the oxygen throughout the lungs. So we built pretty amazing. These turbinates, probably most people don't know we have them. And even the ear, nose, and throat people, physicians, they just oftentimes they just do surgery and kind of remove them a little bit because the passages are chronically blocked. But most of the time they don't tell them that before we do the surgery, let's do some breathing exercises. Let's do the nose unblocking exercise. Let's breathe through the nose. The nose is a use it or lose it organ. The more you use it, the stronger the airways get, the stronger the diaphragm gets, the easier it is to keep it unplugged, unblocked. So it's just it's an amazing system. It's an amazing system. This is the cold and flu season, just as an aside. It's also the pie, the candy, the processed sugar food season. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Also, it's colder outside, which the cold is actually pretty good for you. But what happens is we go inside into our heated environments, the air is dry and we're breathing through our mouth. We're drying out our lungs, drying out the mucous membranes in our throat. And that's what's there to protect you. So if you can eat a steak with your nose, you can breathe through your mouth. You've never eaten a steak through your nose? Then don't breathe through your mouth. Learn to breathe through your nose and claim the benefits. The first thing you do when you're born is you breathe. Last thing you do before you leave this planet or this realm or this life, you breathe out. There's 1,440 minutes to each day. Most of us breathe 20 to 25,000 times a day, which is about 15 to 17 times a minute. Learn to slow your breath down. Work on slowing your breath down. Except, if you're working out or something, still it helps to breathe through your nose and calm yourself. Get the oxygen. When you're working out, you want to do that, but it's actually counterproductive. You're blowing off carbon dioxide and you're getting lightheaded and tingly fingers because you're not getting oxygen. So as much as you can, slow down your breath. Breathe through your nose. Let the oxygenation occur in all your cells and all 60,000 miles of your blood vessels and reap the benefits that are there for you. You produce nitric oxide, you produce carbon dioxide, you sequester oxygen in the presence of carbon dioxide into the working cells. So you're energizing yourself and you're protecting yourself from ongoing colds and flus and other airborne pathogens and respiratory problems. So I've got a 5-week program, a 5 by 5 by 5 by 5, where it encourages you to access this amazing system, your respiratory system, which affects every system in your body. And you do it simply by breathing nasally and diaphragmatically. You're breathing anyway. Take a few minutes. So the program goes, you take 5 minutes and focus. And it's progressive. You take 5 minutes and focus on your breath. It's a nasal breath. You slow down, breathe through your nose, relax. You could look at it kind of like a meditation, because it's the only way you can have your mind not running from this event to the next, this planned event, this thing that happened in the past, how you're feeling, what people think about you, is to focus on your breath and feel the calm energy in your body. Focus on your breath. Feel the air coming in your nose. Feel the slightly cooler air as it leaves your nose. Focus on that for 5 minutes, easy. 5 times a day, which maybe is not as easy because we don't like to take time for ourselves. You can look at it like you're not taking time for yourself, you're taking time for your friends and family, because by improving yourself, you are better able to serve people, serve your loved ones. So 5 minutes, 5 times a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. You can have Saturday and Sunday off. And do this for 5 weeks. And you have a different little video every week. I mean, you can just see them on my channel anyway, but you have me to talk to once a week and help coach and support you in this and listen to your experiences. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy, breathers. Shut your mouth and save your life. Use those turbinates. Coach Couch out.